next to Stanford is a buzz for a huge one in the ACC with major NCAA tournament implications. For the first time ever, the Virginia Tech Hokies and Stanford Cardinal meet at Maples Pavilion. Well, hello everybody, along with former Division I player Ashley Jones. I'm Tim Swartz. Well, for Stanford and Virginia Tech, they are squarely on the NCAA tournament bubble. I mean, this is as big as a regular season game can get.
Yeah, there's just so many different storylines tonight, and this game absolutely has the feel of what March could look like. Stanford and Virginia Tech are in nearly similar spots on the bubble, but Stanford's going to have to do it tonight without Nunu Aguirre and Talana Lapolo. That is a significant chunk of their experience that they won't.
Which one in the ACC with major NCAA tournament implications. For the first time ever, the Virginia Tech Hokies and Stanford Cardinal meet at Maples Pavilion. Well, hello everybody, along with former Division I player Ashley Jones. I'm Tim Swartz. Well, for Stanford and Virginia Tech, they are squarely on the NCAA tournament bubble. I mean, this is as big as a regular season game can get.
Yeah, there's just so many different storylines tonight, and this game absolutely has the feel of what March could look like. Stanford and Virginia Tech are in nearly similar spots on the bubble, but Stanford's going to have to do it tonight without Nunu Aguirre and Talana Lapolo. That is a significant chunk of their experience that they won't have against a physical Virginia Tech team. So that's going to be a storyline that we're going to want to keep our eye on.
Virginia Tech, they've got very good guard play, and it starts with Carly Wenzel, the senior from San Antonio.
Carly Wenzel is one of Virginia Tech's primary offensive engines. She scores at all three levels, runs the offense, and pulls defenses out to the perimeter. And she's just durable. She can shoot from deep, and her ability to stretch the defense and create rhythm is a huge reason that Virginia Tech's offense flows so well.
As Ashley mentioned, two major pieces, two starters down for Stanford, so they rely on three freshmen in the starting lineup, including Lara Shumfayi.
Shumfayi has been one of the best freshmen in the ACC because of how she impacts the game beyond just her scoring. She's relentless on the glass, plays with a ton of physicality, and has a natural feel around the rim. And at 6'3", she finishes strong through contact, and she can create second chance opportunities for herself, and that motor is exactly what separates her.
Lara Shumfayi just named ACC Rookie of the Week for the fourth time this year. Well, both these teams are on the NCAA tournament bubble. In fact, two of the final four in, according to ESPN.com, and they're on different trajectories. Stanford has lost 5 of 6. They lost on Sunday at Georgia Tech by 22. Virginia Tech had won 7 straight, but they got swept at Notre Dame and then against North Carolina State by 22. And neither of these coaches, Ashley, were happy with how their teams played a week ago.
Yeah, 2 really tough losses for both teams. Tate Pay told us that, hey, our team laid an egg in that game against Georgia Tech, and they just know they have to be better, and that's just what it is. And then Virginia Tech, on the other hand, a tough loss. They played NC State so close. Every quarter they were right there. It was either tied or a 1-point differential. That second quarter, they got outscored 25-8, so they have to be able to put together 4 full quarters.
Mention what's at stake. ACC tournament seeding. The top 15 teams make the ACC tournament. Both these teams don't make the ACC tournament. The top 9 teams get a single bye. The top 4 teams get a double bye. And then Virginia Tech, they were one of the last 4 teams out of the NCAA tournament last year. Stanford was one of probably the last 10 teams out of the tournament. They narrowly missed the tournament. The Cardinal had been in every NCAA tournament since 1987. So both these teams want to make the NCAA tournament. Who doesn't?
Best time of year to be playing basketball is March, and you want to be going into March playing your best ball.
There's Kate Pay. She's in her 2nd season as the head coach of the Stanford Cardinal, 19th year on staff. As we're ready to tip it up here at Maples Pavilion, Stanford in the home white uniforms, the Virginia Tech Hokies in those signature maroon road uniforms. Alex Eschmeyer to Swain Shumfayi. Those are the 3 freshmen with touches in a row, and as Ashley mentioned off the top, this Virginia Tech defense, they are very opportunistic and very aggressive.
Yeah, they have one of the best defenses in the ACC. Their field goal percentage defense is really out of this world. They do a great job at holding teams in that 59-60 point area.
These teams met about the same time last year, February 20th. Now, it was not about the same place. It was 2,800 miles away. in Blacksburg, but both teams were on the bubble. Stanford won that game in overtime, a thriller. 21 points for Chloe Clardy in the second half, and well, us broadcasters, we take an overtime game again.
Yeah, I think Chloe Clardy is going to be a big piece for the Cardinals tonight. She's got to be able to put some points on the board for them.
Tipped the rebound to Shumpai, shoveled it down to Eschmeyer, and Stanford turns it over. That has been an issue for Stanford this year, turnovers.
And you can just tell they missed the presence of Talana Lapolo. She's a senior guard. She had the ball in her hands a ton, and so you miss that experience on the floor, and it shows in the turnover category.
Starting five for Virginia Tech. Keep an eye on Karis Baker, leading scorer, 14.5 points per game. And Kyla Freeland, 18 rebounds last time out against NC State. She's been rebounding it very well. That's a long two-point shot for her. Karis Baker, the daughter of an NBA player. Her dad, been a four-time All-Star here on All-Star Weekend.
And that's Freeland with the O-board. She created a second chance possession. Virginia Tech able to capitalize.
To the Stanford 5, Nuno Aguirre is in the house. She is not dressed. The second team All-ACC last year, the leading scorer for Stanford. And Talana Lapolo's made 90 starts as the point guard at Stanford. As Shumpai starts the scoring for the Cardinal. But she is not here, and she is not unavailable. And Kate Pay telling us there's no timetable on the return of those two.
Yeah, Shumpai knocks down the three right there, only shooting it at about 25%, but at 6'3", the ability to knock that down is so incredibly huge for Stanford.
Well, there's one of those moments where Kate Pay and Stanford, you have a freshman, and Alex Eschmeyer fouls a jump shooter, Carly Wenzel in the act, and that's 3 free throws for the senior by academic standards, but fourth-year junior Wenzel. There's Megan Duffy. She had the total opposite situation as Kate Pay did in her first year last year in charge. Everybody left. Kenny Brooks left Virginia Tech. He took a few players, including Georgia Moore, who was a first-round pick in the WNBA. So it was starting totally over at Virginia Tech versus Stanford, where they had the entire staff that came back from the year before.
Yeah, I mean, Megan Duffy, her resume is so impressive, and she's just a proven winner. She's led her team to the postseason 7 out of 8 times as a head coach. I mean, that's just so impressive.
Wenzel makes 2 of 3. She's top 5 in the ACC in terms of free throws made. Set the Virginia Tech record last year for conference free throws made. Out of the action, Ogden, 3-ball, corner pockets. Courtney Ogden, a big 3 for Stanford, they lead by 2.
Yeah, Courtney Ogden can knock down that 3-ball. That could really be a difference maker for the Cardinal. They're looking for that scoring, and Courtney Ogden's got to pick it up tonight.
Freeland gets to the hoop, a real physical player, averaging 10 and 9, almost a double-double.
And Freeland's a little bit undersized down there in the paint, but she plays with no fear. That screen and roll action, she's able to finish around the rim.
Here's Shumpai, putting the line jumper short. Freeland, a rare time she doesn't get the rebound. Mackenzie Nelson, second in the ACC in assists. First in assist to turnover ratio, has the ball in the corner. Layla Wells, Michigan native, short, and on cue, there's Freeland, couldn't get the O-board to go. Offensive foul. You were shaking your head, Ashley. You appreciated Nelson putting her body on the line.
Yeah, I mean, that's never fun to take a charge. Right here, Clardy puts her shoulder into her a little bit. The refs are going to call that one every time, anytime you bend down and put your shoulder into another player. I like the aggressiveness to attack and transition, but you got to be under control there.
We could go tonight at the Peterson Event Center. Chloe Clardy had a season-high 26. Well, these teams will run similar styles. If you're a basketball nerd out there, basketball savant, you'll see a lot of Princeton action.
Yeah, a ton of cuts, a ton of back screens, and the Princeton just forces you to play disciplined defense. You have to communicate, you have to know where everyone's at all times.
Courtney Ogden has made a living in the mid-range this year. She's shooting 54% for the season. That's incredible for a jump shooter. Nelson with contact from Stevenson, and she gets it to go.
That's a great hesitation there by Nelson. She has that basketball on a string, hesitates, makes the defender rise, and then finishes at the rim.
One of the best ball handlers, not just in the ACC, but in the country. Mary Ashley Stevenson, only transfer on this Stanford squad. Both these teams are mostly players that started their career at their school. They'll say that did touch Ogden last. It's a rarity. I mean, you call games all around, actually. How often do you see teams that are playing barely any transfers?
Yeah, it's not something that you see today with the transfer portal, but it does show that you can build a team from the ground up. You bring in freshmen, you develop them, and they continue to grow, and you're seeing that with both of these programs.
Tie game, 4 minutes in. We expect a tight one. Both these teams are right on the NCAA tournament bubble. The last 4 in, according to ESPN.com, they're all ACC teams. Wenzel partially blocked by Shumpai. Deflected pass. Blast off of Virginia Tech.
I really like how Clardy is pushing the ball in transition. She's trying to create some early offense for her team, steal a couple of easy baskets. If they can see a couple going early, you can see this offense really catch a rhythm and flow.
And that's what Megan Duffy told us. She wanted to limit the guards in transition in free spaces for Stanford. Wenzel drives the baseline. Nice bounce pass. Mel Daly, grad student. This is her first action. She is a transfer, played 94 games for Northwestern, and she knocks one down. 2-point lead for the Hokies.
Yeah, and she's just a player who doesn't get rattled. Only 3 points in their last game, but it's got to feel good to see one go down early.
Wenzel with the rebound. She is a big guard at 6 feet. San Antonio, Texas, a very special town for Stanford. That's the last place they won the national championship in 2021, led by Kiana Williams from San Antonio. Nelson high left wing gets Swain, the outstanding freshman. Daly, short, and I think she went over the back. She did. Mel Daly picks up her first personal foul, and the first foul against Virginia Tech. Well, we expected a close one. It's been very close. Neither team's led by more than 2. Virginia Tech 10, Stanford 8. It's our first mandatory timeout here from Tara Vanderveer Court. Charlie Cream, our bracketologist for ESPN. The good news for the ACC, they've got 10. But the bad news as we look at the last 4 in and the last 4 byes, well, all 4 teams that are last 4 in are ACC teams. In fact, Stanford will play Virginia Tech. Tonight, obviously, you're watching it. Sunday, they'll play Virginia. And then in 17 days, Clemson will come. All 3 of those games are at Maples Pavilion. And then CC Syracuse is one of the last 4 byes. So the ACC, as of now, they have 10 teams in, but there's 5 teams that are right on the cut line.
Yeah, I mean, just the conference as a whole is so incredibly tough. These teams are beating up on each other every single night, and you really got to fight and claw to get a bid for the tournament.
Across the bay in Berkeley, Cal is hosting Virginia, and Cal's one of the last teams that's not in the tournament, so that's a massive game. 4 teams on the bubble in the Bay Area this weekend. Baker picks up the board, and went right through the hands of Daly as she was streaking down the court. First turnover against the Hokies. Stanford's already turned it over 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, again, they have to be able to take care of the ball. Possessions are so huge. You've got to be able to give yourself a chance to get a shot at the rim every time down the court.
Clardy steps into a 3. 3rd triple already for the Cardinal. All the way down the floor. Freeland just beat everybody down the floor, and Virginia Tech retakes the lead.
Yeah, Stanford, a big 3-on-1 in. Virginia Tech running it down, gets a layup in transition. I mean, the tempo of this game has just been go, go, go. Speaking
of which, Haley Swain was 100 miles an hour out there, couldn't get it to go. Long rebound, and ends up with Shumpai. Had a 23-rebound game a week ago tonight. It hit the 2nd most ever in an ACC game. Shumpai, left-hand layup's good. 4 rebounds already for Lara Shumpai.
Yeah, Shumpai gets that board there, but before she snapped, I don't know if you saw, she reached up and jumped. Looked like she almost touched the rim there. I mean, she's just so athletic, so good around the rim.
Speaking of athletic, Haley Swain can just explode to the hoop, and she's been playing her best basketball of late.
Well, and funny enough, Stanford in their last game, only 2 fast break points. We can already see that that's an emphasis for them to get up and down the court and try to steal some easy ones in transition.
It was a 22-point first half in Atlanta against Georgia Tech on Sunday. Stanford could get there here in the first quarter. Here's Swain, 5 straight games in double figures for the freshman from the state of Georgia. Number 8 recruit in the nation, Stevenson. Played 43 minutes at Virginia Tech last year in that final win for Stanford. Stevenson, nice seal, reverse lay-in, too strong. And they're gonna get Shumpai for a foul. That's her first personal and the 3rd team foul.
Yeah, I like the aggressiveness here, getting after it on the glass, but I love her effort there, but that's one you gotta let go. Shumpai is too important for Stanford. She cannot afford to get in foul trouble, so that's one of those ones you just let go.
First time in for Shea Ijiwoye. She had a career high 10 at the time. That was a career high in Blacksburg last year. Sophomore from Phoenix, who, if you listen into our ACC Network Extra broadcast, you might hear Shea. She is an aspiring broadcaster, and she is constant energy. Ogden, step back 3, short. And the rebound to Samaya Sufrin, 5'8" redshirt sophomore from Charlotte. Stevenson fights for the rebound. And I had Trent first time in for her. Her and Stevenson were tied up there for a moment. She's a 6'3" big from Springboro, Ohio. Speaking to Megan Duffy, she was concerned about the size of Stanford.
Yeah, she definitely mentioned that their height and Virginia Tech being a little bit undersized, but she did say they're going to continue to play their game, play how they play, and they're a team that's undersized, but they get after it on the glass.
Trent getting after it a little bit too much there. 2nd team foul, first personal on Anaya Trent, who's played about 10 minutes a game. Stanford, the 7 that they've played so far, that's about probably it. That's what they've been playing the last few games without Lopolo and without Aguera and Kate Pay. If you have a Stanford women's basketball question, you ask Kate. She played here. She won a national championship in 1992. Her brother was a football player and a basketball player here. And she's been an assistant here since 2007. But she said the last time she thought they had this amount of bodies was 1992. With an off-ball foul called against Stanford. But that would be a good year, because that was the year Stanford won their 2nd national championship.
Yeah, you hate to see injuries, especially this late in the season. You're missing some of your best players. A bunch of Stanford's experience lies in Lopolo and Nunu Aguera, so you really miss them on the court, but you got to credit what she's been able to do. She has some really good pieces. It's just tough when you only have 7 bodies.
Stanford's been playing 7. They're only dressing 11. Harper Peterson and Kennedy Ume have not dressed the last several games for Stanford as well. Freeland, nice spin move, bank shot over Eschmeyer's good. 3 years at Texas Tech, 95 games for the Red Raiders for Freeland, who actually beat Virginia Tech in the 2nd round of the WBIT last year as a member of Texas Tech. Freeland's got a game high 6. Elbow jumper, Clardy too strong. And the rebound, 40 seconds left in the quarter to Sufrin. Neither team is led by more than a bucket.
Come on.
Wenzel, blocked. Swain collects it. Shot clock is off. Swain, Euro step, short. Haley got her own rebound, and Stanford can reset. Well, the freshmen are trying to play, and the 2 juniors saying, whoa, 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 shot clock's off.
Yeah, right here for Stanford. Want to take that last shot.
Clardy round the corner, and she was fouled as she went up. 2.6 seconds left in the quarter. They're going to get Trent for her 2nd.
Right here, just puts her head down, takes the contact to the body. That's a great job of attacking the rim with the clock running down. Get yourself to the free throw line. That's a big heads-up play by Clardy there.
Chuck Gonzalez is the head official. He is an NCAA tournament level official. Teresa Stuck, John Capolino, the official. But that's a great job too, because there wasn't contact on her way up, but you can't just run over a player after they shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, and she does a great job of going into the body, forcing the defender to reach over, bump, and hit her on the arm right there. So that's just a great heads-up play.
Chloe Clardy played a full 40 in Atlanta against Georgia Tech, and unless she gets into foul trouble or needs a quick breather, she's going to play 40 minutes tonight. Clardy missed the second, but Virginia Tech stepped in the lane, so the third attempt for Chloe Clardy, who's a 79% free throw shooter. Clardy did not play against Cornell and NC State. Splits the two free throws. 2.6 seconds left. Nelson has time for a heave. And whoa, watch out, shot clock. Well, a extremely tight first quarter of play. Neither team led by more than 3. And in a pivotal game on the NCAA tournament bubble, Stanford with a slight advantage after 1. Just about a year ago today, and Stanford did not lead at any point in regulation. They still won in overtime at Virginia Tech. Chloe Clardy went off. She had 21 points, including this massive bucket with under 30 seconds remaining. Those points sent it to overtime, and then this big 3 gave Stanford the lead. They would not relinquish. 75-74. Stanford won a tight one last year in Blacksburg.
I mean, that game, just watching it as a fan, wow, what a game that was. And Chloe Clardy, who else? The basketball in her hand, she is absolutely capable of being an explosive scorer, and that is something that Stanford's going to need from her tonight.
She had a career-high 30. Freeland blocked away by Eschmeyer. Stevenson knocked it out of play. She also had 5 assists. So 30 points, 5 assists. The last time a Stanford player did that before Chloe Clardy was one of the coaches on the bench. Jeanette Poland did that in one of the most famous college basketball games of all time. Stanford beating Connecticut here at Maples Pavilion, snapping UConn's 90-game win streak. Here's Kate Pay. She was on the bench with Tara Vanderveer, who was in the house for that all-time victory here at Maples.
And talk about just basketball history right there. I mean, I remember being a kid watching that game on the couch, like, so hyped up, UConn, Stanford, like, what's going to happen? I mean, that is just basketball history.
Jump by short. Wenzel, 3-on-1. Bounce pass, suffering to the rim.
What a pass by Wenzel there. Head straight up, drops it off. Virginia Tech so good when they're able to get out and score in transition, and we talked about how similar these two teams play. Both teams getting up and down the court so far here tonight. Sophie Swanson just came into this game. She gets called for a foul. I mean, they're so similar, Ashley, that Kate Pay told me, this pass from Wenzel here, but Kate Pay told me when another team, when Stanford's going to play a team, let's say Stanford plays Clemson, they'll watch the tape from Virginia Tech Clemson to prepare for that team. The systems are so similar. Clardy, too strong. Freeland down there, doing what she does, gets the rebound, but a jump ball called, and it will stay with Stanford. Shumpai just doing everything she can to get her team extra possessions. She's always active around the rim, and those little things are what make a difference.
Just a freshman, went to IMG Academy, and she can shoot the 3-ball off on that one. But she's really kind of one of those modern bigs who can play inside out.
Yeah, and at 6'3", she's just a matchup nightmare. I mean, she can step out and knock down that 3, but she'll also take a smaller defender down there in the post and post them up. So you got to pick your poison with Shumpai.
Her game a week ago tonight at Peterson Event Center, 18 points, 23 rebounds, 8 assists, and a couple of blocks and steals in there for good measure. She did everything. Stanford's done a nice job against Nelson so far. He's just an explosive player. Just as I say that, goes into the lane, too strong. Baker couldn't get the rebound and ends up with Eschmeyer. Eschmeyer, drop step, blocked from behind by Freeland. Finds Swain in the corner. Offhand, no good. Eschmeyer with her left hand gets it to go.
And that's that's what you do when you're 6'5". A rebound comes down, you keep it high where no one else around you can get to it, and she just puts it back up, gets a second chance opportunity.
And Nuno Aguirre got hurt early in the fourth quarter at Cal. Swanson's three is off the back iron, no good. Alex Eschmeyer came in and had 16 points in fourth quarter and overtime in that loss at Haas Pavilion, but she has come on since she's coming to the starting lineup. Ogden off the screen from Eschmeyer gets it to go. Another lead change. Stanford's up by 2.
Courtney Ogden is just so efficient, shooting 53% from the field. I mean, she just knows how to put the ball in the rim.
7 lead changes already. Freeland on the pick and roll, blocked away by Eschmeyer. Shumpfai against Baker, double teamed to the corner. Swain travels. You can tell, Ashley, you wanted to see her just shoot it.
Yeah, right here you just see Ogden stop, pop, pull up. Really, really nice, pretty mid-range jumper. And then Eschmeyer, high hand, sends that one away. Stanford able to get out and run in transition. I mean, when you're 6'5", you're going to make it. Your presence is going to be felt down there in the paint regardless.
Two-point advantage for Stanford. And neither team is led by more than 3, and we're tied again. That's the 5th tie with Daly, the Northwestern transfer, knocking down her second shot.
And she's really efficient when she's aggressive with the basketball in her hand, and right there does a great job getting to that elbow. That's her money spot, and knocks it down.
Oh, very smart there. Eschmeyer, the freshman, working on Trent, who has 2 fouls, and Trent now's got 3. Alex Eschmeyer, the lefty. Her dad, Evan, played 4 seasons in the NBA with New Jersey, and I mean, I'm getting old. He played with, remember those Mavericks teams? Probably too old for you. You're way younger than I am. But with Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Michael Finley, they would run and gun. Those were like my favorite teams growing up.
I might know a little something about those teams. That Dirk Fader 1 foot, yeah.
This one's good for Eschmeyer. He's averaging 5 points per game this year, but since she's entered the starting lineup, she's averaging just about 10. And tonight, she already has 6.
Yeah, when these Stanford freshmen, they've been asked to grow up quick. They really haven't had a choice. They've been thrown into the fire, and they've produced. These freshmen have been a huge part of this Stanford team so far this season.
Wenzel, nice hesitation dribble drive with contact. Good defense from Clardy, and Eschmeyer gets her 4th board. Clardy pulls up, mid-range jumper, in and out. Nelson, right to the rim, blocked away by Clardy.
Yeah, right here, great transition defense. Clardy takes the shot on the other end, and then right here gets her hand on the ball. Able to stop the Hokies from running in transition there. That's a good job of not putting your head down about a missed shot.
Into the front court, off the miss, and another Shumpfai rebound. It was the 2nd most rebounds ever in an ACC game. 23 we could go tonight. Nice pick and roll. Eschmeyer in and out. 2nd effort. No, they're going to call a foul against Eschmeyer. She ran into Cale Peterson, the Wisconsin native, and the Stanford fans did not think that was a foul.
Yeah, right here, this is a beautiful pass by Ogden. Eschmeyer not able to get the first one. That's a tough break right there. I mean, they both kind of went up at the same time, but nonetheless, Stanford gets the foul.
And if you're Stanford, that is a massive foul, because that's 2 on Alex Eschmeyer now, so she has to sit. That was the 1st in the quarter against the Cardinal. We might not see Eschmeyer again until the 2nd half.
And that's a tough one because I really like that lineup for Stanford. They had Shumpfai and Eschmeyer down there in the paint. Those are 2 bigs where they can stretch the floor. They're not just going to sit down there on the block, and so with one of those out, Stanford's got to adjust their offense now.
More of a 3-guard lineup, and as Ashley mentioned, look at the paint. It's pretty empty as Stanford gets into their set. Nice pass. Shumpfai blocked away. Baker with a rejection that's last off of Shumpfai.
here. Baker straight up. Gets her hand on the ball. That's a big-time block, and then the ball goes off of Stanford. So that's a really big play for the Hokies. See if they can convert on the other end now.
Yeah, that was a great call. It went off the hand of Shumpai last. 2-point advantage for Stanford. In and out for Daly. Long rebound to Nelson. Here's Peterson from Wisconsin. Where's the number 34? Ijuoye. Pass was a little bit too far. Suffering. Back and forth we go. Pull-up jumper. No good. Another rebound. Shumpai's got 8. Ijuoye. Nobody stops the ball, and Shea goes all the way to the hoop with the foul.
Getting out in transition, that's Ijuoye running the floor. The spark plug off the bench for the Cardinal. Big time play for Stanford going into the timeout.
Avoid the quad 3 and quad 4 losses. If you want to find out what quad 1, 2, 3, and 4 mean and all that stuff, use Google, because if I start explaining it, we'll be here till the end of the course.
I think you did a great job explaining that one.
I appreciate that. Wenzel, long 2-point shot. And Carly Wenzel at any point can go off. She had 22 against NC State, a game where Virginia Tech and their staff was not happy with their effort, but they said Carly Wenzel played a very good game.
Yeah, she's had 9 straight double-figure games, and she's a 3-level scorer who can get you on the 3-point line, the mid-range, or around the rim.
Great size as well at 6 feet. Picks up Swain. Put in the line jumper. Swain got it to go.
Big bucket for Haley Swain. That's a tough shot. She spent most of the time dribbling at the top of the key, able to step into her shot and knock it down though.
Ijuoye is caught for the foul. Mention Shea. She's been on some of our ACC Network extra broadcasts.
Right here you get the screen and roll for the screener action right there at the top. Did great job reading the defense, and then on the other end, Ijuoye, such an active hands on defense. She's such a great defender. Just gets caught in the cookie jar a little bit right there.
Baker just had the ball through it. Deflected out of play, but she is very interested in becoming a sports broadcaster as well. As a sports media and analytics major. Somebody suffering of Virginia Tech, and along with Shea, some potential future broadcasters. Any advice for them, Ashley?
I mean, Shea's already a natural. We got to interview her after the Cornell game, and I mean, she's so natural on the headset, just like she is on the court. So I think she'll have a really good career post-basketball.
This Karis Baker, one of the sports broadcasters of the future. She's had 8 20-point games this year. She's had a total breakout year, 14.5 points per contest, top 6 in the ACC. Her and Wenzel, 2 of the top 6 scorers in the ACC on this Hokies team. Wenzel is asking, you can review it. Megan Duffy is talking to the officials. She gave that little twirl sign. You didn't have that when you played, but everybody's doing that now.
No, definitely didn't have that when I was playing, but it's just a natural thing as a player. You see something and you don't agree with it. Let's review it. So, but ultimately, coach is going to make that call, and you may not want to do that so early on in the game.
You do have to call a timeout. The timeouts are so valuable now because in women's college basketball, unlike men's, you can advance at the end of the game.
And that makes a huge difference whether you're inbounding the ball on the opposite baseline or you're entering it on next to your bench, right on your side of the court. So that's something you want to have in your back pocket unless you're absolutely sure you're going to win that challenge.
6 on the timer for the Cardinal. Ogden to Clardy. To the rim. Long shot, the rim's in! Well, Nelson hit the ground easy, and Chloe Clardy took advantage.
Chloe Clardy is one of the most explosive scorers on this team. Puts the defense in the spin cycle, gets the and one. She's headed to the free throw line. That is a huge play for Clardy. Stanford is going to need more of that from her tonight.
They got Freeland on the reach-in. That's the 4th team foul against Virginia Tech. So final 2:38 of the second. Stanford will have free throws, and this is the first time. So we've played just about 17 and a half minutes. This is the first time it's been a 2-possession game.
And you can just tell the tempo of how this game has been played so far, that these two teams are so similar, and that's why the score has been so close.
Well, how about this? Nelson, I haven't seen one of these all year. A flop warning against Mackenzie Nelson. They added it to women's college basketball a few years ago, and I haven't seen one for years, so that was nice to see. It was contact, but she went down pretty easy. Wenzel, wide open three-point shot, knocks it down, 35% from deep, but you cannot let Carly Wenzel get that type of space.
I mean, her shot is so pretty. I mean, nothing but the bottom of the net. She shoots the ball so quick release, big time bucket for the Hokies.
In the corner, Clardy responds with a three of her own. Double figures for Chloe Clardy. And that's the second time this game Virginia Tech and Freeland just beat everybody down the floor.
And that's why Virginia Tech is so good. That's what they do. Short-term memory, Stanford knocks down a three on one end, they're back the other end. They're pushing that ball down every single time.
Nelson, that's her 4th assist. Ogden, mid-range game, it's pure.
Courtney Ogden, 6'1", has the ball on a string. She gets down there, gives the defense a little jab step, stop and pop, pull up. I mean, that was nice.
And 23 points in back-to-back games against Notre Dame and then at Pitt. The game at Pitt was tight going into the 4th quarter, and 3 in the key. The Stanford bench was screaming and yelling for 3 in the key, as Baker at 6'2" was matched up with 5'6" Ijiwoye, and they called it.
Yeah, you got to credit Shea Ijiwoye there. She's down there banging in the paint, able to get the call on the defense. That's a tough play right there, but that's how she plays. She's so tough.
Ask anybody around the Stanford program about Shea, and they say constant, endless positivity and energy. Shumpfaiye called for the moving screen. And that's 2 on Shumpfaiye. So the 2 starting bigs for Stanford, Shumpfaiye and Eschmeyer, now both on the bench with 2 fouls. Productivity, Eschmeyer with 4.6 rebounds in 7 minutes. Shumpfaiye 5 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. That's her first breather of the game.
Well, the one good thing you can find out of that is that they're almost going into half. Get your bigs a break, and then Virginia Tech again connecting from the 3-point line. Baker, she is shooting 37% from 3. You got to have a hand up on her.
6'2", stretch big. Baker with 9. Ogden, right elbow jumper, in and out. About a 3-second difference between game and shot clock. We'll see how the Hokies play it. And Nelson calling for it up top. Basically, the entire half has been played within 1 basket in this pivotal game in the ACC and NCAA tournaments. Baker beating the clock, in and out, tipped rebound. Freeland, open jump shot, that's off. And we'll head to the break. Stanford in an extremely tight first half, they're up by 2.
The tempo of this game has said it all. We talked about this feels like March, and that's what this game has felt like. Both teams pushing the tempo, playing aggressive. 2-point game at half. We're going to be in for a fun second half.
These 2 teams squarely on the NCAA tournament bubble. They played a tight one that went to overtime last year in Blacksburg, and it's another tight one tonight. Neither team is led by more than 5, and Chloe Clardy's led the way with 10 for Stanford. Cardinal up by 2 in this pivotal game at Maples Pavilion. We'll be back after this with the ACC Network crew. This is the ACC massive 20 minutes of play underway. The second half between Stanford and Virginia Tech. These are 2 of the last 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Nice cut in the Baker again able to score. She's got 11.
And just back to what you said, Tim, about the rebounding. It's huge that Stanford is out rebounding Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is one of the best rebounding teams in the ACC, and they get after it on the offensive glass. They only have 4 second chance points so far tonight. Stanford's done a great job of taking that away from them.
Second foul against Freeland. First team foul. Stanford is one of the best rebounding teams as well in the ACC. Strength on strength in this matchup. Shumfayi passed it in between Eschmeyer and Swain. Pay telling us that growth as a freshman is not linear. Connor Shumfayi against ranked Louisville and Notre Dame last week, or 2 weeks ago, pardon me, here at Naples, had just 4 points total in those two games, and she backed it up with 18 and 23, and then 19 and 9 last week. So for freshmen, you'll see them play a great game, and then sometimes you'll see them struggle a little bit. That's just how it is at this level.
Yeah, when she's learning how to score with getting different defensive looks. When she first started, no one really knew what to expect. She's a freshman. Teams have seen her, they've watched film on her, and they're learning how she plays. And so being able to shift and develop there and learn how to score against different defense is going to be huge. And then right here, Virginia Tech tries to get in there, take the charge, but Eschmeyer gets the block and gets to the free throw line.
It's not a bad idea from Nelson because Eschmeyer's playing with 2 fouls. And the lefty from Colorado's first free throw hits every part of the rim and comes out 70.4% for Eschmeyer. Stanford came into this game just about 79% as a team, the best, 10th best mark in the country. That's the good news. The bad news for Stanford is they're 17th of 18 ACC teams in terms of free throw attempts, and that killed them at Georgia Tech.
They're only getting to the line 3 times. That's a tough break there, but Coach Kate Pate told us that there wasn't a lot of fouls called in that game in general, but them being able to be aggressive, try to get Virginia Tech in foul trouble could be big for them. Virginia
Tech leads the ACC in free throws made, free throws attempted. They took just 3 in the first half. Eschmeyer in the corner, in and out. Long rebound loose. Eschmeyer fighting, and it ends up going to Wells. Wenzel retakes the lead for the Hokies. A long-range bomb.
Scouting report, defense. Give Wenzel that much time, she's going to knock that shot down every single time. You got to know where she's at on the court at all times.
10th straight game in double figures for Wenzel on the other end. Second time Chloe Clardy's responded to a Hokies 3 with one of her own.
Yeah, that looked real similar to the first half. Wenzel hits a 3 on one end, Clardy hits 1 on the other. Same thing here in the second half.
How about Baker? She knocks down a 3. Back and forth we go at Maples.
And Virginia Tech is one of only 3 teams in the ACC with 2 starters at that scoring level. Wenzel and Baker both averaging 14 points per game. When those 2 are going, Virginia Tech's rhythm offensively just opens up.
Eschmeyer double teamed and Nelson got her on the way up. So that's 2 quick ones on Mackenzie Nelson.
Second personal number 3. Right here in transition, you can't lose Carly Wenzel. She's going to knock that 3 ball every time. And then Clardy, hand in her face, doesn't matter. Shoots the basketball with confidence. And then how about one more for good measure? Virginia Tech knocks down another one. That's Baker. It's raining 3s in Maples Pavilion tonight.
And the former guard, Ashley Jones, next to me. She loves it. Eschmeyer now 4 for 5 at the line. 6 points, 6 rebounds in just 10 minutes. She didn't play much in the first half because of foul trouble. Eschmeyer up to 7, and we're tied again. 8 ties, 10 lead changes. Shea Jawoye came in for Ogden, and Shea called for a foul. She didn't agree with that.
Second personal number 6, Shea Jawoye. First team foul.
Baker up the left wing. Dribble handoff. Wenzel working on Shumfayi. Nelson setting up the shooter Wells, who comes in instead, and it's off. Shumfayi, her 11th rebound. Clardy down the lane and gets around Freeland and gets it to go.
The level of skill that took for Clardy to finish that layup, she literally scooped the ball underneath the defense and still able to finish. That is such a tough shot that she made look easy.
What a pass by Nelson. That's her 5th assist. the length of the 6-footer Wenzel. You just don't see players that can do what she just did. Block it on one end and drop the dime on the other.
Wenzel is so good. I mean, she just touches every part of the stat sheet for Virginia Tech. She really is the engine that makes this team go.
It is a hot start in the second half for the Hokies. They're 5 for 8 shooting, 12 points already in the third quarter, and they lead by 2. Timeout. Stanford Cardinal trailing by 2. Back and forth we go. Carly Wenzel doing it all for the Hokies. In terms of the NCAA tournament picture, look at the resume for Stanford. They're one of the last 4 teams in. They have 2 quad 1 wins. They beat Oregon at Chase Center, a neutral site, and they won at North Carolina. This would count as a quad 2 win, which would be very key for Kate Pay and company, as Stanford missed the NCAA tournament last year for the first time since 1987. In fact, Stanford has 9 losses this year. They haven't had back-to-back double-digit losing seasons, or double-digit seasons with losses since 86 and 87.
They're missing 2 of their best players and still right there on the bubble, still very much able to make the NCAA tournament. So it just shows you how good this team is and the depth that they've been able to have.
And one of the factors for the NCAA tournament committee too is player availability. So Stanford, you want Unu Aguera and Solana Lapola to come back because they're good on the court, but it also will help them in an NCAA tournament committee room. The other thing that's working against Stanford is they've lost 5 of their last 6. Wenzel 3, got it! She has caught fire here in the third.
Carly Wenzel shoots the basketball with no remorse, so much confidence. Shumpai's extended arm out on her, doesn't matter, still able to knock it down.
Second triple for Wenzel in the quarter. It's a blistering 6 for 9 start for Virginia Tech in the second half. They're going to give that one to Daly. Tech has 15 points in the first 4 minutes and 40 seconds of the third. The largest lead for the Hokies. Ogden, that's like a horse shot.
Leaning to the left, still able to finish off the glass. Really nice touch by Ogden.
Leaner banker off the glass, not easy. Freeland, oh, nice 12 little baby jumper right in the lane.
Freeland at 6'1", I mean, she just has such nice touch. She's so long and athletic, but she can knock down those mid-range jumpers.
Well, things are starting to come apart a bit here for Stanford. Wenzel into the front court. Left corner 3, in and out. Offensive rebound. Daly went for the power dribble and tosses it back up top. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Nelson attacks. She gets it to go. Stanford just throws it out of play. Well, the mandatory timeout can't come at a better time for the Cardinal. Virginia Tech on a big run, up by 7. It's the largest lead for either team tonight. A lot of reason to smile for Carly Wenzel and company. Stanford trailing by 7 for the first time. Carly Wenzel making it rain in Maples. See Clemson, who's the last team in latest bracketology with a win at home against Georgia Tech. They'll be here at Maples on the final Sunday of the season. And that score at the bottom is huge. Cal's one of the first few teams out. Virginia, one of the last few teams in. And the Bears up by 16 at Haas.
Yeah, that is Cal is really handling business there at home. Now they just got to finish the job in that second half. That could be a big time win for them. Looking forward to the rest of this month and then into March.
Virginia Tech on an 11-2 run. They've taken the biggest lead for either side at 7. They'll drive tomorrow to Berkeley and face the Bears on Sunday. And Virginia will take their spots here at Maples Pavilion on Sunday for a huge game. Wenzel, hopefully she's okay. When that ball hit her, it hit her on the hand very awkwardly, and she immediately went to one of her fingers. And you played a lot of basketball. The ball hits your finger wrong and you can sprain it, you can break it pretty easily.
I mean, it's just uncomfortable, and with her being a shooter, looks like it maybe not on her shooting hand.
Might have been a right hand. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, either way, that's just uncomfortable when you're trying to shoot the ball and one of your fingers is not as it should be. It can be a little bit uncomfortable, but hopefully she's able to shake that one off.
Mentioned Tech will cross the bay. They'll go to the Golden Gate Bridge tomorrow. A lot of these players had never been to California. They had never been to the Bay Area, so they were so excited to come here. It's going to be a foul against Stevenson, her second, and the team's second. But Megan Duffy was telling us it was so fun. There's Apple, there's Google, there's Meta. It was a lot of fun for the team to come to the Bay Area and sell to different companies.
Yeah, that's the one cool thing about the conference is expanding. You got teams traveling across the country as Virginia Tech knocks down another 3. You got teams traveling across the country and a lot of players who, like Coach Duffy told us, have never been to those parts of the United States. So it's just cool to experience something new while playing basketball.
Stanford had a lot of challenges last week. In case you missed it, Super Bowl was here, so Stanford could not fly in and out of San Jose where they normally fly out of. Eschmeyer, 3, in and out. Tipped rebound to Virginia Tech. Hokies on a 14-2 run, and they are running. Playing with a lot of confidence.
All right, here's your Stanford. You want to stop the bleeding, get a stop, and a bucket on the other end is much needed.
Oh, tons of contact, no calls anywhere. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Nelson, pocket pass, ball's loose. Both these teams kind of leaking oil here for a moment. Ijuoye, acrobatic finish.
That's exactly what Stanford needed. They get a big-time effort, hustle play stop on one end, and then, of course, Shea Ijuoye on the other end hangs in the air and finishes.
I mentioned Stanford, because of the Super Bowl, they couldn't fly out of the Bay Area airport because they had to go out to Stockton, an hour away. Daly gets the basket to go. And on the way back, when Stanford landed in Stockton, their bus, the lights didn't work. So they had to take 5 Ubers and 3 rental cars and make the about hour, maybe hour and a half drive from Stockton here to Stanford. So the long trip home after that loss at Georgia Tech was a little bit extra long. Eschmeyer cuts through the lane. Second effort. Eschmeyer loses it to Daly. Tough defense for the Hokies. Daly again. Virginia Tech has exploded for 24 points here in the third quarter, and they've increased the lead to 12.
And the Hokies are a team that just don't get rattled. You think that Stanford could maybe go on a run here. They get a big stop and a bucket on one end. Virginia Tech just weathers that storm. They come down, they run their offense, and they get a bucket.
Ogden, left-hand dribble. Both these teams on the bubble. Stevenson seals. Ijuoye extra pass. That's deflected. 2 on the shot clock. Clardy has to hoist and cans it. Stanford desperately needed those 3 points from Chloe Clardy.
Anytime that Stanford's needed a bucket, it was Chloe Clardy that has shown up big tonight, has knocked down 4 threes so far this evening. She's 4 for 7. They're going to need her to be able to knock down that shot the rest of this second half.
Shumpai and Swain have sat for a little bit of this run. Stanford's been outscored by 11 points in the third. 8 on the timer. Eschmeyer tied up, and the arrow keeps it with Stanford. Eschmeyer, hopefully she's okay. She went down a little awkwardly. Tied up here, and Baker and Eschmeyer's shit. Yeah, ooh, no, yeah, her right shoulder kind of went her right elbow went the wrong way. It was the jump ball call. That's a rare time too, actually. You kind of don't want the possession, because there was 3.3 seconds on the shot clock. Well, they reset the shot clock. They're not supposed to do that. There was no change of possession. Are they saying maybe there was a change of possession with Baker? Now Eschmeyer, her right arm kind of went the wrong way, but thankfully back on the Stanford bench. I think they're checking the shot clock. Okay, so we're just told by one of the officials, John Capolino, that they're going to look at everything, including the shot clock. There was 3.3 seconds on the shot clock, so the things that they're going to probably be looking at here. 1, the shot clock. 2, was there a change of possession? Do you reset the shot clock? And then 3, anytime someone goes down like that, I don't know, we'll see it again. I don't think Baker had any intent there, but when players get tied up like that, it might, they'll have to look at it a little bit more.
Yeah, on first glance, I didn't see anything there that was out of the ordinary. I mean, anytime a jump ball situation is like that, both players trying to rip the ball away from each other. Yeah, both just trying to, kind of got her arm there a little bit once the ball was down.
So, no foul, and yeah, the shot clock should have not reset. It's 3.3 on the timer. So this is a big possession for Stanford. They trail by 9, heading into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, look for them to go into Shumpai right here, try to get a quick bucket. Yep. And 1, Shumpai. 3 seconds on the clock. Who are they going to go to? Their post presence down low. Perfectly drawn up right here. This is a great screen by Shea Ijiwoye. Gets the ball to Shumpai. Finishes through contact. She is so good around the rim. And 1, that is a big play for the Cardinal. We'll see if that can kind of get them going here and catch a rhythm.
Freeland, that's her 3rd personal. There's Chuck Gonzalez. We're going to check the clock. 44.5 seconds left. But just a few moments ago, Ashley, this was a 12-point game. And so they'll put 0.6 of a second on the clock. Shumpai, who has rebounded really well, 11 rebounds, 7 points. Has been solid, but with Nonu Aguera, the leading scorer for Stanford, averaging 14.5 points per game. Other players have to score more. 8 for Shumpai now. Some life here in Maples Pavilion. Stanford down by 6. Baker, a massive response. She's got 10 in the quarter. And the shot clock's off. It's 2. Clardy throws a desperation shot, and it's no good. Well, Stanford led by 2 going into the 3rd, but Virginia Tech leads by 8 going into the 4th. They're in very good shape. In very good shape after a blistering 3rd quarter of play. Virginia Tech shot 71% from the field. They lead Stanford by 10. Ashley, what does Stanford have to do to slow down the Hokies?
Well, they have to take care of the basketball. Virginia Tech has capitalized on Stanford turning the ball over. They have 11 points off of their turnovers. They have to be able to get a quality shot at the rim each possession. You don't want to have a turnover or a shot turnover and let Virginia Tech get out and run.
Even in some made baskets, we've seen a couple of times Virginia Tech get out and run and have easy buckets. Swain misses it, Peterson gets the rebounds. Nelson has been incredible. Baker hits another 3 and 1. Karis Baker is sizzling hot. 22.
A great job. Eyes up by Nelson. Finds Baker. A late closeout by Stevenson. I mean, you just cannot foul a 3-point shooter. That is like the cardinal sin in basketball. You never, ever, ever want to foul a 3-point shooter, let alone them make it, have a chance at a 4-point play. Stanford has to be able to get matched up in transition. We know that Virginia Tech loves to get out and run. You got to know where your man's at all times, especially Baker and especially Wenzel. Make someone else beat you.
How do you played a few years at the Division I level. How do you get matched up in transition? Who's that on?
Well, one is communication. You got to be talking, yelling across the court, who has who, and when a shot goes up, normally you want to have one person back to kind of really just regulate everything, tell someone where to go. But it starts with communication. You got to yell at your teammates, let them know who's where, who's in the back of the defense right here. And then right there, see, you have Ogden pointing, who's going to match up, who's going to stop the ball. All of that stuff has to be communicated.
As Stanford able to stop a 4-on-2 there. 11-point lead for Virginia Tech. Neither team had more than a 5-point lead till the third quarter. Swain, what a nifty move. The lefty knocks down the jumper. Haley Swain, 5 straight games of double figures. She had 0 at Syracuse in the Dome, and since then she's responded with 5 straight double-figure games.
Yeah, and her confidence has just continued to grow as just a freshman. She's got so many big game reps under her belt. She's just going to continue to get better.
Daly down low. Baker banks it in. She's got 24. That ties a career high.
Baker is just a nightmare matchup as well at 6'2". She'll knock down that 3-ball easy money, and then she can also finish around the rim. But if Chloe Clardy has something to say about it, she's trying to keep her team in it. Before I can even finish my sentence, Daly is down on the other end, scoring another bucket in transition.
That's the 3rd time off of a make. Virginia Tech just beating Stanford to the basket. Megan Duffy told me this, the culture of this program is Shumpei knocks down a 3. These grit, outworking your opponents. In Virginia Tech, those 50-50 balls, those easy buckets from hustling, they've just gotten those tonight.
Yeah, and they're just a team that wears you down possession after possession, because they're constantly running the ball down your throat. You've got to be able to take great shots and then defend basketball. Peterson
knocks it down. They're talking about it off there as well. I mean, Stanford has Clardy, Ogden, Swain, Shumpei on the floor. They've sat like a combined 5 minutes in this game. And with the pace of this game's being played, it's hard to keep up with Stanford not using a lot of their bench.
Yeah, I mean, essentially just having 7 players in the rotation right now, I think we're starting to see a little bit of the wear and tear, and the pace of this game has been relentless, and their bench is short, and so the players are having to play heavy minutes, and at some point, you wonder, is that starting to show in the turnovers and the small mental mistakes?
Yeah, with that in mind, I think Kate Pay wants to call a timeout to talk things over and give her team a breather. Stanford down by 10 with under 7 minutes remaining. From Lara Shumpei gave her a double-double, her 7th. That's the most by a Stanford freshman since somebody by the name of Chinea Gumake, who was the #1 pick in the WBB draft back in the day. That brought Stanford within 10 as the Cardinal come out of the huddle. It looks like they're going to press here.
Yeah, right here. Ijiweye in the game, try to create a little havoc, create a turnover, see if they can get some steals and score in transition.
Tech, a very experienced team. They have players like Wenzel, who were part of the 2023 Final Four team. Virginia Tech, 2021, they went to their first NCAA tournament in 15 years. In 2023, they went to their first ever Final Four. And you see the experience. Nelson, so calm with the ball. She has 7 assists tonight.
And if you're Stanford, you gotta box out on that first shot. You can't give Virginia Tech second chance opportunities at the rim. Gotta find somebody and put a body on it.
Daly, grad transfer from Northwestern. Couldn't get it to go, but again, here's the 3rd crack at it for Virginia Tech. This possession started with 6:54 left in the quarter, so they've already taken about 45 seconds off the clock. It becomes a math problem. There's still plenty of time for Stanford to come back with 6:08 left, but you just can't afford to allow Virginia Tech to just kill the clock.
Yeah, it's just such a small margin of error for Stanford. Got to be able to box out, and if you look at the stat sheet, Stanford's taken 54 shots compared to Virginia Tech 64 now on another offensive board, and they get a putback. I mean, that's just, can't have that happen. You got to box out.
Daly, that was the 4th attempt for Virginia Tech on that possession. It was a double whammy for Stanford. They gave up 2 points and they lost 1 minute off the clock. This is the Hokies' biggest lead, 12. Swain has to try to make something happen. Couldn't get it to go, and Shumpai is called for over the back. Third personal on Lara Shumpai. It's the second team foul. Freeland had the ball, and then Shumpai and Swain both got into her. Stanford has to hit the offensive glass. They need stops. And I always think people underestimate defensive rebounding. You can force a missed shot, but if you don't get the defensive board, it doesn't matter. Shumpai gets the board there. Ogden steps into a three. That one's off. Smallest player on the floor, Ijuoye, got the offensive rebound, leaves it. Clardy, three, back iron. And Baker, who's having a monster night, 24 points and 6 rebounds, cleans up the glass.
And if you're Stanford and you're trying to get back into this game, they're 0 of 5 from their last 5 field goals. A 2-minute and 39-second drought, that's just tough. You can't have that. And then again, Virginia Tech continues to knock down the three ball. They're shooting 58% from the three line.
Blistering night for Nelson. She has 11 points, 7 rebounds, and just 1 turnover. She is second in the ACC coming into tonight in assist to turnover ratio. Virginia Tech is up by 5. They're on a 7-0 run. The second half is 42-25 as they're going to get Baker for a moving screen. Stanford led by 2 at halftime.
Yeah, this is where you really feel the absence of Nunu Aguera, Talana Lapolo. This is a Stanford team that's short-handed. They're giving it all they got, but you can kind of see that they're looking a little bit gassed out there, making a few mental mistakes. It's just tough when you only have 7 bodies available.
Nice pump fake. Ogden steps in and knocks down a mid-range jumper. Stanford has to press from here on out. Under 4 left. They're down by 13. And Baker, well, she threw it away, but it was off the hand of Swain, and Haley had no reaction. I always like to look at the player's reaction. Haley's reaction was, no, I didn't touch it. It's fine.
Wasn't me.
Stanford has 2 opponents right now. It's Virginia Tech on the clock. 3.5 left. Stanford forces a turnover, but I'll say this though, Ashley, it's not a terrible possession. They took 25 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, that's not a bad look at all. You get a stop, and that's ultimately what you want. And now right here, if you're Stanford, you don't want to rush, but you definitely have to play with some urgency and get a great shot.
Ogden, the jab step, and Nelson gets the board. 11, 6, and 7 for Mackenzie Nelson, who's the Gatorade Player of the Year in Connecticut. Just 1 start last year, and Nelson has been just huge for the Hokies this year. As is Freeland, coming off an 18-rebound game. Baker, in and out, another offensive rebound, and the foul against Clardy. And Stanford, in the first half, they were +9 rebounding. The second half, it's been all Hokies, especially the fourth quarter on the glass.
Here. 3 doesn't go, but who is it? Freeland at the rim, attacking the offensive glass, able to get to the free throw line, and this is almost just not what you want as for Stanford, giving Virginia Tech a chance to score at the line with the clock stopped.
And +5, you just saw us pop it up, 11-6 in the fourth quarter for Virginia Tech. And we've mentioned it a few times. Nunu Aguera leading scorers out. Talana Lapolo, 90 starts at Stanford. The point guard's out. And now Alex Eschmeyer, the Stanford big. She has not played since she got tied up. There's a schedule for Stanford. The Virginia game is huge. They're on the bubble. The Clemson game, they're on the bubble as well. Those are both at home. SMU has been one of the lower teams in the ACC. And in Miami and Florida State, those 2 teams have been in the middle to the bottom of the ACC. Stanford does play 3 of the 5 teams that are underneath them in the ACC, but winning on the road has not been easy for the Cardinal.
Yeah, even just winning a game in the ACC conference is not easy. This is such a tough conference. Night in and night out, you're getting everyone's best game. There's no gimmies in this conference.
Megan Duffy brought up a really interesting point to us. Shumpaya gets it to go. But she was saying a lot of the teams in this league, just like NC State, who they just played, Louisville has been on fire. Duke really struggled in non-conference play. Now, they've been one of the hottest teams in the country, if not the hottest. But Megan Duffy was telling us she thinks that the net ratings and all those numbers don't reflect how good these teams are playing. So we're playing way better than they were earlier on in the year.
Well, yeah, and you think, like, this game right here has March implications to it.
Ajawoye forced the turnover by Baker, and Baker face, hopefully she's okay. Made contact with Ajawoye. Shea was just trying to get out of the way, but yeah, there you see it.
Yeah, they just collided into each other. I don't think there was anything egregious there. Ajawoye tried to help her up. Just an accident, 2 players running into each other. Good to see Baker up.
I wonder if she was going to her eyes, and then said no, maybe she might have thought she lost the contact. There's Shea Ajawoye, 5'6". Has been big for Stanford all season long. A spark plug off the bench. And Stanford really struggled against number 9 Louisville at home on that Thursday a couple of weeks ago. Shea Ajawoye had 15 points in that one.
Spark plug Shea, she comes off the bench and she gives them such a lift, and as she continues to grow and build her confidence, she's just going to continue to get better and better for this Stanford team.
Great pass, there's Ajawoye. Extra pass, Stanford needs 3 as Ogden knew it was off, tried to chase it down, and the rebound to Virginia Tech.
I'd like to see Stanford get the ball in Chloe Clardy's hand here. She had the hot hand first through the 3rd quarter. I'd like to see her be a little bit more aggressive, demand the basketball, and try to get a good shot off.
Stanford led by 2 at the half, but the second half has been all Hokies. Freeland banks it in. She's got 15 points. That's 3 short of her career high. And Virginia Tech has opened this one up to a 14-point lead. Stanford only dressed 11. Ogden gets fouled on her way up, and we haven't seen Eschmeyer since she was tied up in the 3rd quarter. So he's been holding her right arm a bit on the bench.
Brittany Ogden puts her shoulder down, gets to the rim, able to get to the free throw line. Now this is what you want if you're Stanford, scoring with the clock stop.
There's a 4th foul against Freeland. It's 2 free throws here for Courtney Ogden. The first one is down for Courtney. We mentioned the second half has been all Virginia Tech, and again, Stanford, they don't have a lot of bodies, and you kind of said it in one of the breaks, it's just a culmination of how this game has been played, and just the reality of playing a Division I basketball game, a high-level game at this level. The second half, it's just hard to keep your level of play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm out of breath just sitting on the sideline watching. Like, this game has been a track meet. So when you're down bodies, players are going to wear down and get tired. And I think if you ask Kate Pay, she would say, hey, we got to figure it out. I mean, it is what it is. They have some injuries. You still have to be able to win basketball games. But I think also she'd be able to acknowledge that, hey, I mean, this is tough. They only have 7 players on the court, and they're missing 2 of their best players. So it's a tough go for Stanford in a game like this where it's just so fast-paced and up-tempo.
2 free throws for Nelson after the foul on Swain. Stanford's past the limit. Nelson, 12, 6, and 7. And again, to me, the most impressive number, 1. That's the amount of turnovers she has.
Yeah, I mean, she's first in the ACC with the assist to turnover ratio, and she really is the engine. Like, she just does everything really well. There's not like one crazy outstanding stat for her, but she touches every category and does it so well.
Ogden with a nice acrobatic block. Now, Virginia Tech, we mentioned it, we showed you the highlights earlier, lost that game last year 75-74 in overtime to Stanford. And you look at Virginia Tech was one of the first 4 teams out of the NCAA tournament. So if they win that game, as the Hokies call a timeout, they're probably in the NCAA tournament. And Megan Duffy said it's definitely something that was in my mind. I didn't think the players, it's a year ago, but I'm sure it's going to be very nice for the Hokies to win this game, not just for the revenge of last year, but this is a massive win. It'll be a quad 1 win, and that is a giant plus on the Hokies' resume.
Yeah, if Virginia Tech's able to hold on, this would be a huge win for them to be able to come in on the road, steal one at Stanford, and just doing it in such a dominant fashion, and just the way their style of play. Like, they're going to force you down, they're going to work you down, make you tired, and they are going to play their game, which is up-tempo, fast-paced, get after it, knock down the 3-ball, rebound. I mean, they do it all, and they just wear you down.
Oh, there's the scoring right there, Ashley. It tells the game of the story of the game.
Yeah, that third quarter was tough for Stanford. They had a long drought where they didn't score, and then the fourth has been tough as well. You look at those first half numbers, everything's pretty even, and then Virginia Tech able to pull away in the second half.
I talk about the net rating too. You probably need a master's in mathematics from Stanford, an engineering degree from Virginia Tech to understand it. But it's not just the win, but it's the margin of victory. The Stanford loss at Georgia Tech, losing at Georgia Tech didn't hurt them too much. It was losing by 22. And tonight, in terms of net rating, for Virginia Tech, the 14-point margin of victory is massive as well. Clardy trying to get a bucket here for the Cardinal. Ogden, this is the 3. Shumpai gets her 15th rebound. 15 and 15 for Lara Shumpai. Another monster game for the player that I think a lot of people around here, talking to people around the ACC, think probably should be the ACC Rookie of the Year. But what a win for Virginia Tech. The Hokies come here to Stanford, play the Cardinal for the first time here at Maples Pavilion, and they come out with a 79-67 signature win. The fans who came out from Blacksburg very pleased with the effort, and what a big quad 1 victory for the Hokies.
Yeah, this is a big time win for them. Shooting 53% from 3, 46% from the field. They were dominant. They got after it on the glass. They forced turnovers, and my goodness, the tempo. I mean, they pushed the tempo. It was a blistering pace that they played at. So impressive what Megan Duffy has her team able to do and where they're at right now.
It is a big win, and yeah, the Hokies are fired up. They'll have another big one Sunday against Cal, and Stanford has a massive game, and with the way the NCAA tournament bubble is looking, it's probably a must-win against the Virginia Cavaliers here 11 a.m. on Sunday. 79-67 is the final, and making her way over is Karis Baker, who was just outstanding tonight for the Virginia Tech Hokies, equaling a career high. You could take a breath, Karis.
Sorry, I'm just catching my breath.
I mean, this was back and forth. What a game. 24 equaling a career high. What was working for you tonight?
I mean, my teammates did a really good job at finding me. I mean, our biggest emphasis for this game was just execute and let it fly, have confidence. We run on the board, just have fun, have joy. And I think just we started from warm-ups, we were just having so much fun with each other. I mean, we're a group that likes to have fun, we like to smile, and I think we just wanted to bring that in today, just have that joy, have that fire. And I think we came in, we knew, I mean, we're coming to the West Coast, it's our first time here, we just wanted to have that fire coming in. I think we were all really excited from the jump.
24 points, you shot the 3-ball so well. At 6'2", how is it when you're just a nightmare matchup for players? You can shoot the 3, you can go in the paint. Like, what's that like for you when you get going early like that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my teammates are really good at finding me. I talked to Coach Duffy a lot about my versatility. That's definitely a major emphasis in my game. So just using that to my advantage. If my shots aren't falling, I'm going to find other ways to score. And my teammates are finding me in the paint, finding me on the perimeter. So it definitely helped for me tonight. And then I mean, Coach Duffy is always helping me work out. I mean, we were in the gym at 7 a.m. the other day, and I think that's just a testament to what happens on the court for me.
Well, it was such a tight first half, and you were able to blow it open in the second half. What was the difference, do you think, between the first and second halves?
Yeah, I think we just went into halftime. We had that fire. We were just really excited. I mean, we said they were going to punch us. They're a really good team. Like, we knew that they were going to throw punches. We were going to throw punches back. But it came down to the end of who was going to throw more punches and not give up at the end. And I think we kind of were just, every time out, we were just emphasizing that they're going to throw punches. We can't get down on ourselves, and we got to get defensive stops. So,
Well, congratulations. Great win. A quad one win.
yes.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was Karis Baker, our player of the game, as a victory for the Virginia Tech Hokies here at Maples Pavilion. Well, 97-67, the victory for Virginia Tech over Stanford. Any final thoughts, Ashley?
Virginia Tech is such a good team. The pace and the tempo that they play with is so impressive. They have a chance to really do some things come March, and I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the tournament.
For Ashley Jones, for our entire crew, what a big win for the Virginia Tech Hokies, 79-67. They will cross the bay and play Cal in a big one on Sunday. Stanford will have Virginia in a must-win on Sunday here at Maples. The ending of the ACC season, so much fun. Stick with us on ACC Network for the rest of the year.